this is Matt, I'm here with Phil.
Hello.
And welcome to EA's offices in Guildford. We're here to see Need for Speed The Most Wanted. We're here at Criteron Games and we're joined by Matt Webster. He is the executive producer on the game.
That's right.
So we're just going to ask you a few questions about the game.
Sure.
I think I'll start off actually asking about one of your previous games, which is Burnout Paradise. And would you say that maybe this game's a spiritual successor to that in any way?
Well, I think it's an easy comparison to make because they're open world driving games featuring cars. And they're both made by us, so it's a natural comparison to make. I mean, I think if you put them side by side, you can see there's a clear difference between the two, and I think it's also fair to say that without making Paradise, we could never have made this one. It taught us a huge amount, and Hot Pursuit taught us a huge amount, and this is kind of like bringing, everything that we know about those two driving games, bringing everything that we learned from making those two games, and along with a raft of brand new ideas and saying this is our take on Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, we've already had a chance to actually play the game as well and have a little bit. And I have to say, I think it's absolutely a fantastic job, and it does feel like a lovely blend of all the stuff that you've had from Burnout and the new Need for Speed, and the looks for it and the graphics are absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that, and clearly Paradise changed. That we changed it a lot. One of the principles that every game is a reflection on who we are at the time, and what we wanted to do with this game was create an open world driving game where players could race, chase and explore and compete to be most wanted amongst their friends. The friends part of it is something that's become extraordinarily important to us over the years, and we think that modern games need to be able to reward players with freedom and choice and allow them to play the game at their own pace and do the things that they enjoy at any time. So it's got to be responsive to the things that they choose to do. So this really is everything we know about offering an open world, high intensity, very action-based experience, but having friends at the centre with a lot of freedom and a lot of choice and a lot of variety.
Yeah, the social side of it is definitely one of the best ones I've seen. As you said, every time you do pretty much anything, your name is up there on the side. Obviously, that's something that you've gone from the start with the autolog, which you had in Hot Pursuit as well. Yeah. So obviously, a lot of development went to that, I assume.
It did. I mean, so the way the autolog works. So the principle behind autolog was we kind of said, well, why don't games do these things automatically? I mean, if it's always if it's a competition and they're connected, these machines, why hasn't someone made a system that automatically tells my friends when I've beaten them? And that's really where it started. Getting from that idea to execution was extraordinarily difficult, but after we'd done it, actually, with Hot Pursuit, what we saw was we took a load of data out of the game. We mapped the time played versus how many friends people had, and it was a straight line. The longer people played, the more friends they added, which was an incredibly valuable thing. First of all, it told us that people are innately competitive when it's amongst friends, and when you build an experience that sits on top of that competition, you can have awesome fun with it. These machines, consoles have been around sort of 6-7 years now. They've had a connected cable in the back for that amount of time, but actually the Friends Network part of it is actually relatively immature based upon what we're used to now. So we've had to build those systems. So when it came to looking at where we would take Autolog next, it was let's keep players behind the wheel of the car as much as possible. Let's go and push those comparisons into the heart of the game so I don't have to go looking for them at all, and then let's broaden the things that we're competing against, because to be able to compete for a best race time requires quite a significant degree of ability actually, and we kind of take that for granted. And for new players, we want to be able to let them feel like they're a part of the competition as well. So anyone can jump through one of the billboards and anyone can fly past one of the speed cameras and feel like they're getting into competition. So we've broadened the ability and I think intensified the competition as well. And it's because it's all about that point that we say, and we're very, very bold about it, friends at the centre. Don't get distracted by other types of leaderboards. We just think everything's better with friends.
Yeah, and I definitely think it as well. We've been playing some multiplayer as well, and getting connected is so easy.
Yeah.
But obviously this is a driving game. Racing is one of the big things. There's lots of cars in there. And moving on from Burnout now with the Need for Speed franchise, you're actually able to do cars that are real. Real manufacturers, real pieces and stuff like that. And in the game, you can mod those and change those around and stuff. And I'm just wondering what it's been like for Criterion, moving on to real life cars and modelling those and changing those up, rather than the fantasy style cars and the fictional cars that you've done in the previous games.
It's been awesome fun.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our second shot. Remember, we did Hot Pursuit with real
yeah.
cars as well, but this time we've got the widest variety of cars that Need for Speed has ever seen. Always, but generally been exotic sort of sports cars. Underground was again of its time, and at that time it was about more everyday cars that people were able to customise. But we wanted to look at a wider range of play and a wider range of abilities for the cars, a wider range of surfaces and a wider range of vehicle types. So we go from the track cars that you've seen with the Ariel Atom and the Caterham 7 up through everyday cars, the Focus RS, which is an awesome car, the Audi A1's really great fun, sports cars, your hypercars, and then you've got the Ford F-150 Raptor, which is just a monster.
Yeah.
So a real mix for players to be able to pick one that they like and they enjoy playing, and then customise it to suit how they want it to play, and just have great fun with it. Because I think one thing that we've realised, and I don't think driving games have done a spectacularly bad job of, is actually recognising that everybody. No, if you park a Porsche out there, people stop and look. If you hear a supercar engine, they turn around. Whether you're super mad keen on cars or not, they do turn heads, and everyone's got a love for the cars. At a certain level, there's clearly some people that really desperately love everything about a particular manufacturer. But sports cars and cool-looking cars do turn heads, and we think with this range we've got a great range for people to be able to pick their favourite. Plus, with our sort of handling, they pick the pad up and have great fun very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I like how all the cars actually, some of the events we were doing with like the takedowns and stuff, they all have their unique feels. And I love how we went from one race, everyone having the Atoms running because they just wanted the pure speed. And as soon as it came to takedown, we all hopped in Land Rovers and everything like that. And it's just a quick change as well, which is quite nice.
That's right, yeah.
It matches the fact that you were saying that everything has its nice feel, and even the Land Rovers look absolutely fantastic. For like the big, heavy, bulky cars there are, they still compare to the. Not really that, but but cars like that.
You're right, and I think, and this is why we've sort of made this decision to say, particularly noticeable in the single player game, where we say, look, all the cars are available for you right from the start, because otherwise I'd have to play, put 4, 5, 6. That's the convention says, put a load of time into the game before you get to the one that you like, and when you're making a game that's about freedom and choice and it's about open, you've got to have an open progression. So here's all the cars, go and find one that you love. When we get to multiplayer, which is more of a traditional progression, what we do is restrict to some of the events, just because we want to get people driving and experiencing some of the other vehicles. Yeah. I think people naturally are going for the track-based cars because they're new, and they feel very nimble, very agile. They feel really fast. They're not super fast in terms of top speed, and they are very fragile. Yes. So when you start coming up against people with some bigger vehicles, when you put that, you put the Range Rover up against the back mono, there's only one winner when it comes to gliding.
I think there's one thing also I wanted to just generally ask you about. You won't know at the time of watching this, but obviously in terms of visuals for starting some of the events, you've gone quite bold and honestly quite trippy in some of the ones. I mean, I'm pretty certain I saw a car of cop cars spiraling around in a circle, stuff like that. So they're a bit weird to kind of going into the dimensions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that so the thing there was for race intros or introducing people to a particular experience. I mean, how many times can you glide a camera over a car? It's just a bit boring and tedious to keep doing that over and over again. So go a bit wild. Players don't say what the enough, And so to get you to pick those experiences coming back, like what's going on there? It's just
I honestly thought the PC was crashing.
Lots of people have come back.
So he's got one with the graphics cards. Oh wait, no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, many people have said, excuse me, there's some problems. No,
just wait.
It definitely stands out. It makes you remember it as well. It's something very different.
Games are way too serious these days, and I think one thread that runs really deep inside this game is we just want to say, hey, look, this is back to the fun. Let's just get back to the things that are entertaining and put a smile on people's faces, because ultimately, that's why we do this.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and I'm really looking forward to playing the game. I'm really looking forward to seeing as well what it's going to be like on the Vita, which is obviously being developed alongside of it in-house here, which looks great. I read the news about it, that it's going to be pretty much the PS3 game on a handheld, which I think is great, and I really do enjoy playing on the Vita, and also obviously the other platforms. It's coming out on PS3, Xbox, PC, Vita, and then it's also coming out on iOS and Android.
Yeah, it's a different experience on iOS and Android, just to suit those devices. I mean, on Vita, just very quickly on that, so what we tried to do was, as much as possible, make the same game. We've had to make some compromises in terms of traffic density and the number of players online, but other than that, it is. There are clearly some graphical things that we weren't able to do. But I think Vita owners are going to love it, and with something like Autolog, with the asynchronous play in Autolog as well as the synchronous play, I think the asynchronous is going to be really powerful on Vita. And then the thing that brings it all together is a feature that we've got on Autolog that we call Cloud Compete. So everything that you do in the game earns you SP, which is driving your progression up the most wanted list, and drives your speed level on multiplayer as well. If you're playing on multiple devices, we aggregate those scores together. It's kind of like a unified SP system. So you could be playing Vita and moving up the ranks on your console or your PC. Or you could be playing on the iOS game, and those SP that you're earning on that game are also getting added to your total on the other devices as well. So we're sort of bringing this unified scoring system together.
That's really cool. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to playing the game, and you can pick it up on, I think it's October 31st in the US and November 2nd in the UK.
Something like that.
Yeah.
October 30th, I think, in the US.
Okay, that's great.
One
of those
days.
Thanks
very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.